Hello, Heart Mending Mastermind members. Today I'm excited to share with you the 7 fears that keep your stress level high and your motivation low. So we are going to go through them one by one, and I'm going to tell you how to actually find your percentages in each one. And then I want you to go in, get those, and make sure to send those numbers to me so that I can help you clear them. I'm also going to be breaking down each one of them into their own little module and putting it into the membership site so that you guys have it. So let's get started. The first fear that controls a lot of people is the fear of being kicked out of their tribe. Nobody wants to feel rejected. Nobody wants to feel abandoned. One of the most positive affirmations that you can use to counteract this is, I am accepted. If you keep on programming your brain to say, I am accepted, then it will help you overcome your fear of being rejected. The other thing that is a big contributor to this is not loving yourself unconditionally. So it's pretty hard to feel loved by anybody else if you can't love yourself first, because you're not going to believe anybody. If they come up to you and say, I love you, but you don't love you, then you're not going to believe them. So the very first thing that we need to do is find out what percentages. Over here on the chart, there is a list of all the different things that are associated with the fear of being kicked out of your tribe. So I need you to stand up straight, facing north or south if you're in the southern hemisphere. And you need to have your legs shoulder width apart. Take a deep breath. Feel the energy in the air going through you. Center all your weight into the middle of your feet. And when you get there, I want you to say, my name is, and your name. And notice where the weight shifts. It should be shifting to the front of your feet. So I'm going to do that again. Center all your weight into the middle of your feet. Take a few deep breaths. Just be relaxed and say, my name is. The weight should be shifting to the front. Now, I want you to say, my name is Henry. So get your weight back into the middle of the feet. And now say, my name is Henry. Your weight should be shifting to the back. That is a clear indication that your energy is centered and that your yeses are positive and your negatives are no's. And so if that is happening, we can proceed. If it's not happening, you make sure that you send me a message and we need to get that cleared up. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find out how much rejection is in your world, where your head is at with feeling rejected. So center the weight into the middle of your feet. Once you get your percentage point, just stop and wait for the next thing. But make sure that you write this down. So I hope that you have a pen and paper handy, and so that you can write these numbers down because they are important. So center your weight into the middle of your feet. And I want you to say, I have 10% rejection. Are you going front or back? Okay, I've got more than 20% rejection. Front or back? I've got more than 30% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 40% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 50% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 60% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 70% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 80% rejection. Front or back? I have more than 90% rejection. Front or back? I have 100% rejection. Front or back? So that's going to narrow things down to the 10th. It narrows it down into tens. So say that you had 30% rejection. You had more than 30% rejection, but you had less than 40%. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find that number in between there. So if it is 31%, does my percentage end in 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%, 8%, 9%, 0%? So that's going to tell us if you've got 30%, 31%, 32%, 33%, etc. So get centered again and say, does my percentage end in 0%? Get centered. Does it end in 1%? Get centered. Does it end in 2%? Get centered. Does it end in 3%? Get centered. Does it end in 4%? Get centered. Does it end in 5%? Get centered. Does it end in 6%? Get centered. Does it end in 7%? Get centered. Does it end in 8%? Get centered. Does it end in 9%? Get centered. So now you should have your number for rejection. And we need to do the same thing for abandonment, self-love, lack of confidence, and stagnant. You need to have those numbers so that you know what percentage it is, and so that we can get you to 100%. We need to clear out some of this stuff. So you're going to go through that same exercise on your own, and you are going to find your percentages for rejection, abandonment, self-love, lack of confidence, and stagnant, and you're going to use this method. So we're going to do it one more time. Get centered in the middle of your feet, and I want you to say, is this more than 10%, more than 20%, more than 30%, more than 40%, more than 50%, more than 60%, more than 70%, more than 80%, more than 90%? Is it 100%? You're going to go through each one of those and stop wherever. If it's going forward, it's a yes. If you're going backward, it's a no. So is it 10%? Is that a yes or no? Is it 20%? Is that a yes or no? Is it 30%? Is that a yes or no? Then you're going to go back to the beginning, and you're going to ask, does it begin with 0%, 1%, or does it end with 0%, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, until you have all your percentages? And when you have that, then you're going to know where the problem lies. So I want you to do that for fear of being kicked out of your tribe. The next big fear is the fear of abundance. This is the fear that keeps everybody feeling like they're struggling, like money issues are coming up. There's a fear of losing stuff. You are working too hard and getting too little. Everything is an uphill battle. And so in this exercise, you're going to use the same method, but you are going to check for your existing abundance, your stagnant, lack, and over and short. So everything should end up being 100%. If it's not 100%, then there's something not right. But if you have an over or short, make sure to email me at Kalinda@KalindaTrifo.com, and we will figure it out, or just post your numbers in the group and we can figure it out that way too. So I want you to do this for abundance. Fear of loss. Now, this is what I call the glass ceiling. A lot of times when you have something, you are so scared to lose it that it just makes it go away. And your belief system believes that you're only capable of having so much, and that is it. So if you believe that you are only allowed to have $100,000 in a year, The moment that you break over $100,000 in a year, something's going to happen to bring it back down, and so that it ends up being $100,000. And so you need to smash those glass ceilings. You need to take the limits off. If you are in a relationship, you're only going to be allowed to be so happy before the wheels fall off, if that's what your glass ceiling is. And that's what fear of loss is. It's the underlying cause is your belief system on how much love, joy, peace, and confidence you actually deserve. If you don't believe that you deserve it, you're not going to have it. So this is another abundance block that you need to go searching deep to find out exactly what it is that is making you believe that you don't deserve these things. So for fear of loss, you're going to check what your existing abundance is. You're going to check your stagnant abundance, your lack of abundance, and the over and shorts. Again, it should end up being almost 100, or it should be end up being 100. If it's not 100, there's other factors that are contributed, and we'll talk about that in your one-on-one sessions. Fear of aging. Everybody gets scared of aging. Not everybody, I don't, but it is a common fear. And the underlying source behind that is the fear of not being loved and dying. There's the fear of dying, and there's the fear of critical illness that are hidden in here too. But I want you to go through and check all your percentages for the fear of aging, and we can clear those ones out. Fear of judgment. The affirmation for that is I am accepted. And so nobody likes to be judged, but there's no avoiding it. Everybody's going to have an opinion of you. The best way to combat that is to love yourself unconditionally. If you love yourself unconditionally, you're really not going to care what anybody else thinks. So we're going to go through, you're going to find your percentages, and it is going to be finding the existing acceptance, the stagnant acceptance, the rejection, the abandonment, and document your overages and shortages from 100%. Okay. Fear of critical illness. I've been down this road more than once. That's actually a picture of my daddy. Lost him in May of 2015. Man, that's time goes quick. But fear of critical illness is a reality for a lot of people. The way to combat that is I am healthy. And I use a picture of my dad for a very specific reason. And there he's hooked up to his treatment, but prior to that, he was in bed for 4 months, and he was hallucinating, and he was delirious, and he was out of it. We actually didn't think that he was ever going to get out of the hospital. And the biggest blessing that he had was he didn't realize that he was sick when he was hallucinating. And so my mom, my brother, and I, we sat right beside his bed for months on end. And we were at our wits' end. We didn't think that he was going to make it. And lo and behold, it was after Christmas. It was actually Christmas Eve. He started to do a turnaround that was really strange. And a week and a half later, he got up and walked out of the hospital like there was nothing wrong. So he shocked the heck. He blew my mind. And I mean, I'm the queen of positive thinking, but he blew my mind. He blew my mom's mind. He blew my brother's mind. He blew the doctor's minds. He had lung cancer, but you know what? He beat that. He beat it enough to get some good quality of life left, and he was doing great until fear settled in, and then we went down all over again. And I learned so much from him. I I learned so much from him that I am telling you that mind over matter is huge. And the best affirmation that you can use is, I am healthy. Another reason I use this for my dad. He, during this chemo thing that he was doing, he looked me square in the eyes and he said, Kalinda, I'm healthy. I'm not one of those sick people, you know. And after this chemo treatment, he got up, he walked out, and he wasn't even sick. He went to the casino that day. He won $2,000. He was having the time of his life. He did good for his first chemo treatment things, and then he got scared because there was extra stuff happening. But if you can say, I am healthy, you can literally do almost anything. You need to understand that pain can be caused by emotion. So I want you to rate your percentage of pain, and we can go after it to eliminate that. Your vitality. You need to understand what your vitality is. Self-love and your confidence. If you believe in yourself, you can do anything. It's fear of critical illness is the critical illness isn't the scariest part of that sentence. Fear, that 4-letter word, that's the scary part of the sentence. So I am healthy. And when you affirm that you are healthy, you are going to make healthy choices. You're going to do healthy things. Your pain is going to diminish. Your vitality is going to increase. Your self-love is going to increase. And you get to see miracles. Now, oh dear. The last biggest fear is the fear of death. Now, if you don't have a belief system, this one is a little bit scarier. But if you do have a belief system, there really is no death. It's the only thing that fades away is the body. You're invisible. So the 2 affirmations that we use to overcoming the fear of death is, I am healthy and I am safe. The biggest waste is spending your time. None of us are getting out of here alive. None of us. We are all terminal. And so the biggest waste is worrying about what will likely take less than 3 minutes. And using your time to think about your death wastes time that you got to be living. You are going to be dead a lot longer than you're alive. So use every moment to live. Just do everything that you're going to do. I mean, nobody knows when their number's up, and it doesn't matter what your circumstances are. Just live and do what you love. Live and feel peace. Don't let your mind be clouded with things that you don't like. Life's too short for that. So while we're here and while we're breathing and while we're living, I want you to live the heck out of every moment. If something's got you down and feeling like you're struggling, let's get it the heck out of here, because you don't have time for it. Just if you can spend all of your time thinking about what you love, all of these fears are going to lose their power over you. And that is the intention. So I am healthy and I am safe and you are living. And while you're living, I want you to live. I hope all of this information helps you out. And I hope that I see all of your codes, and so that I can help you clear this stuff, because you don't need it. You really don't need it. And so if you don't need it, get rid of it.